Welcome back, everyone, to Total Nonstop Impact Talk for Impact fans right here on YouTube, Twitch, and wherever you get your podcast audio. I am J-Bone. Sorry we couldn't do this last night, but we are rested. We are ready to go. Thank you for being patient with us. Let's introduce the rest of the panel here right below me. Ladies first. Let's start out with our own very own knockouts. Alisha, how you doing today?
Hey, how goes it? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. And Alisha was so generous today, she brought her main squeeze, Stefan, today.
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here.
Haven't seen you in a while. How you been?
Everything's good. Happy to be here, and had a great night last night watching the pay-per-view.
Awesome.
To talk about it.
And from across the pond, from our TNI UK team, on a roll with all the hot interviews lately, I gotta say. Props to you guys. Simply Steve, how you doing?
Yeah, we're doing fine over here, thank you. Still ticking over, as you say, with the interviews, and yeah, got another one coming, so keep your eye at that one.
Ah, nice. Oh, and it looks like we're getting someone. Should we pop them in? Let's pop them in from the road. We got Bill on the road.
What's up, Bill?
How you doing, Bill? Can you hear us? We can see you.
Is he there?
Hello.
Bill!
Bill!
You know what? I'm at the show in between. I wasn't sure what the connection would be, but it's a little dicey. So I may just jump in the chat and see if I can get a better connection. But if not, good luck.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks for tipping in, Bill.
Bill making towns, folks. He's at all the shows. In fact, he was probably at the one last night. Not that we watched, but the one where was it Mox versus Nick Gage or one of those crazy ones?
GCW.
GCW.
Very cool.
Yeah. So and I noticed that we got a tip already in the chat. Thank you, Punk. Hey, yo, toss his toothpick. There's all the links in the description to help support the show. Go check them out, the merch, the socials, all that. And you can certainly tip the podcast as well on YouTube and Twitch. Super chat or bits or subs or whatever you like. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when all your TNI fam goes live. All right, let's get into last night's, man, what a whopper of a show. Any first opinions before we start getting into the meat and potatoes of the show? Alisha, let's start with you. General thoughts on the show overall.
Very enjoyable. I felt like every match was given the right amount of time for these women to really showcase their stuff and give us a great night of wrestling. I loved it.
There you go. Yeah, that was really important, and I want to make that point all through this show as we're going through this. I mean, I see other brands, and I usually don't go out of my way to pick on other brands in professional wrestling. I usually just leave it alone. But when you're having women's tournaments for something unique and special, don't give them 1 or 2 minute matches. Mm-hmm. That is an absolute insult to women's wrestling. And then you compare it to shows like this or Empower or what have you, and these brands are absolutely, pardon the pun, but knocking it out of the park, you know? And yeah, there you go. That's my 2 cents. Stefan.
Yeah, no, I
first
agree.
thoughts on the show.
I think that Impact's been doing a great job, an incredible job, really, with the women's division. And, I really thought that they highlighted it with using like women's refs and the women announcers, and everything was just kind of like focused just on the women. I was happy to see Melissa Santos as the ring announcer. That was fun. She's always fun.
She did a great job last night.
Yeah. She always does a really great job, and I'm always happy to see her in the ring. Just some other general thoughts. I thought like the first round was a really great intro for some new wrestlers like, Lady Frost and Renee Michelle and people like this who you don't really see very often and who they're trying to like show a little bit more. And, they did a great job. I'm always into bracket style, tournament style format. That's always a format I'm into. So it's very fun.
There you go. Steve, any first thoughts right before we break this down?
Yeah, like everyone said, from top to bottom, the show was, it started strong and it ended strong, really. There was a few moments where I sort of was like, yeah, I'm not sure. But then there were other moments where it exceeded my expectations and it brought things that I wasn't expecting. I was like, oh, so it kind of evened out. And yeah, all night, you couldn't really say it disappointed.
Sure.
There you go. Yeah. All around representation, the time, the Hall of Fame, everything just flowed together. You could try to nitpick something about this show, and I'm usually pretty good at doing that. But I really couldn't find anything. I really couldn't. It was just a grand show. All right. Let's jump into this. We're talking about Impact Wrestling's Knockouts Knockdown. The tribute to it was a tribute to Daphne, who we sadly lost recently. And of course, this was a much more emotional show probably when it was actually recorded. I'd say a few weeks ago or whatever it was right after we lost her. So, don't take that as in, what took them so long. It was recorded live a while ago.
Right.
So we start out with the 10 bell salute for Daphne. And, was that from a family member? Did I catch that in the ring? That they brought in?
I'm not sure who that was, and I'm not sure if they really explained who she was either in the beginning. It was just kind of presumed that you would know who she was, I think, and I didn't really know who she was, but that's just my perspective.
The one thing I didn't write it down. Alisha, did you catch that?
I did not catch it.
Okay.
She was terribly emotional about the loss, though, so I would figure someone close to Daphne.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a friend or if that was a mom or something. I wasn't sure. Close friend. Close friend. Okay,
thanks for the info, Zach.
Gotcha. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Hey, Courtney, what's up? Bonus Baby's in here. Kill Steele. Terrence Sullivan, RK. All the squads in here. All right. So, then we start out here. We got the first round of the tournament. And I do want to announce, like you mentioned, it was great having Melissa Santos in there. She did a great job tonight.
I'm a huge Melissa Santos fan. She's the best. Yeah,
and she, she's mostly known for like Lucha Underground stuff. If you're familiar with that, she always did great in that. So it was great seeing her back. Veda Scott and Mickie James.
On commentary, man, they killed it.
They did. They knew the product.
Yes.
They knew history on the women. Whether it was new faces or older. Veda Scott did great.
Yeah.
And we've seen her a few times recently. I know she jumped in. Didn't she jump in on some Ring of Honor stuff or something somewhere else?
Yeah, she's been doing some stuff recently on with various companies. She done some commentary with AEW recently on Dark, I believe.
That's what it was. Yeah, she did when they had like a women's tag theme something for that. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a championship. It was like a cup thing. But yeah, she was on commentary for that too. So yeah, she always does a great job. And Mickie James with her doing some color stuff, of course, making it personal whenever Deonna was on screen, amping up that. So, all right, so we start here with Rachael Ellering versus Lady Frost. Great to see Lady Frost back.
Mm-hmm.
And Rachael Ellering just not, I don't know, it just seemed like this match with her, she gave it a little bit of extra oomph.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was the time allotted or just everything in general. Alisha, let's get your thoughts on this first match.
I really enjoyed it. Lady Frost is a favorite of mine from the independents, so it's always good to see her on the main show. I don't know. I think my overall opinion of this is like Frost was great. Had a hard time keeping Ellering off her feet, but in the long run. Oh, brain fire. Sorry. In the long run, Ellering got the win, of course. But yeah, I'd like to see Lady Frost as like a permanent member.
More, yeah.
Or even just more appearances. Something. Give me something, because she was amazing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Stefan?
Yeah, Lady Frost is really fun. This was a good opportunity to kind of get to know her too. I liked how in the beginning of all the matches they gave those little promos, and so if you weren't familiar with whoever was in the match, you got to get that little promo, get a feel for their personality or whatever. And I don't know, I remember Lady Frost saying something like "I'm the coolest" or something like that, and I was like, "Oh wow, okay, Frost, wow, I get it. That's a fun pun you got going there." But yeah, she was fun. There was a lot of moments in this match where I felt like it was going to end, but it just kept going. I was like, oh wow, this is turning out to be kind of a long match. It was good. A lot of like technical stuff going on.
Yes.
Good. And right off the bat, the first match, I got a good impression of the crowd. Crowd was really into it, and a lot of noise coming from the crowd and stuff. So great match.
Yeah. From what I heard, Bill said if you keep a close eye on the audience, you can tell this was recorded over the course of two or more days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but yeah, Bill had a couple costume changes,
Yeah.
So you could tell it was different. But yeah, each time you had you saw no matter what they landed on, the crowd was very into it, and very supportive, and they loved it. Steve, what'd you think of this?
Oh yeah, like you said, like each time we see Lady Frost, she seems to bring something new to her arsenal, which is very impressive. And this match with Rachael was very brutal, back and forth. I thought between them, and it really could have gone either way, really. And I don't think anyone would have been upset had either victory. But yeah, it's a fantastic match, and neither woman came away from this as a loser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then overall, I think we could all say that we definitely want to see more of Lady Frost. She represented well, and it came off like I know she hasn't been around super long, but she comes off like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
so
even as Stefan said in her video package, she carried herself promo wise really well.
Oh yeah, she's got a cute gimmick, She really does. I love it. So Rachael Ellering gets the win here. Now she looks, I don't know if she was selling something legit or just adding a little drama to the rest of the show. She looked pretty banged up at the end of this match, and that does carry into her next match. So it is interesting.
Good storytelling if it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It makes sense in this kind of format to play something like that.
Oh, sure, yeah, because I know she absolutely was over here too. So yeah. So Chelsea Green versus the returning Renee Michelle. Now I gotta say I popped for Chelsea Green's. I popped for the gear because I just got this the other day and I was like, oh, it's the same gear.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, and then it was different. It was almost the same gear for the second match of hers, only it was purple.
Yeah.
So, but I don't have that one yet. So cover up the logo there because wink wink, it's from somewhere else. But nonetheless, I'm a Chelsea Green fan. So yeah. Was excited for that. Great to see Renee Michelle back. She really comes off as I don't know much about her. I know she's married to Spud, the former.
Oh yeah, former
Yeah.
wrestler Spud.
Yeah, I can't think of what his name is in the
Drake Maverick.
Drake Maverick.
That's
That's it. Yeah. And Alisha, let's start with you. What did you think of Renee Michelle versus Chelsea Green?
I really like this match. I'm a big fan of Renee Michelle. I think she's got a real interesting allure to her. And I think that, like all of them, she would be a great inclusion to the Knockouts roster. Yeah, I just really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, she comes off as what did it was either Mickey or Veda said something to the effect of she really comes off like she's got that diva presence about her.
Yeah.
Like she's walking the runway and she's got a million eyes on her and stuff like that. Stefan, let's go to you next.
Well, yeah, we also got to know her as a little bit of like a mean girl, kind of with her like trying to capitalize on the injury. And really trying to beat up that cast of Chelsea's. But I mean, I really like Chelsea. I had a feeling like she was going to win this one, and I was happy that she did. But yeah, it was good to get to know Renee Michelle a little bit, and I never seen her wrestle before, and was happy to see that she was a good wrestler and had a strong character. So good match.
Yeah, I noticed at one point in the beginning when they were going back and forth with the roll-ups and then or the tie-ups or lock-ups, whatever you call them, and Chelsea Green must have given her a slap in the face or a forearm or something, and Renee backed up and she screamed, "Not in the face!" Like that's the money maker.
Right.
So that right there,
that
I
was
was
funny.
like, "Oh, that's good stuff. Good stuff right there." Steve.
Yeah, like you say, she's got so much character to her, and I actually thought in the pre-match sort of promos, I thought that Renee sort of knocked Chelsea out of the water. I thought hers was far better. But yeah, when it came to the match, there was some great technical wrestling, I thought, and the counter wrestling here too was, it was so different to the first match, but still so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I still can't tell if Chelsea Green's stuff is, with the cast is, because a few weeks ago, I suppose it just depends on when stuff is taped and aired.
Yeah.
But like sometimes she has it on, and then like the last couple of weeks, I don't think she did. But I think this was all recorded prior to that. So
I'd sort of say around September, mid-September, this probably was, weren't it?
something like that.
Yeah.
So Chelsea Green gets the win here. Moving on. I mean, some of these were predictable as far as who you thought possibly would win, but once you watched the match and realized how good these ladies were, that completely went out the window. There there were no squashes here at all. So that was
I mean, yeah, I kind of agree that I feel like the outcomes, a lot of the matches were predictable, but I was explaining to Alisha last night, like, I think it was kind of in a good way. Like sometimes Impact, when they mess up a pay-per-view, like they have done from time to time in recent history, in my opinion, it's because they sometimes try to like throw too many curveballs or do too much unpredictable stuff that's unpredictable in a bad way, or like surprising in a bad way or whatever. So it was cool to kind of get back to something that is was just easy to watch, was really fun to watch, and just a lot of great content in it, even if it was like, okay, I knew that was going to happen. Plus sometimes that's like an ego boost for yourself. You're like, I knew that who was going to win that one, you know what I mean? So you're like, okay, I don't know. So that's another advantage for matches being predictable. But
oh yeah, all the people out there. Oh, I called it. Yeah, you called it. I really try not to do that unless it's something unique, you know. But yeah, there is that bunch out there. Oh, I knew it all along. Okay, whatever. All right, so so Chelsea Green gets the win here in the first round. Next one, excuse me. Brandi Lauren, I'm still getting used to her name, versus Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez, of course, another one who was a free agent recently from being let go up north. And I don't know, I had a really good feeling about this for her, as much as I know that Brandi Lauren is actually listed as a roster member. I'm using my quote fingers here for the folks on audio. And just how they're presenting her. Brandy's got a strong presence with this whole Sue gimmick now. Yeah. The undead bride stuff.
Makes her stand out a little more.
Sue is one of my favorite knockouts on the roster. But Brandy is quickly replacing that because how she comes off in the makeup. If when they do the close-ups of the eyes and her smile with the face paint and everything,
she plays it so well, doesn't she?
It is terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. And her first couple, they first zoom on her a few times against Mercedes Martinez, and I was like, oh my God, we are in for some fun here. Alisha, let's start with you on this match.
This one was a little more on the predictable side for me, simply because it was Brandi Lauren versus Mercedes Martinez, and Mercedes is a tough act to beat, and therefore straight to the point for me.
Oh yeah, and I think this one did come off a little shorter than others, but that's okay.
Totally fine.
It was super fast.
Yeah. And Mercedes Martinez is such a consummate veteran. Stefan, what'd you think of this?
Yeah, they really wanted to kind of highlight how badass she is or whatever, and I think that's part of why the match was so fast. Other than maybe just for timing reasons, of course, to maybe try to make some of the other matches a little bit longer. But it's also like just really trying to drive home that this lady Mercedes Martinez is like a total badass. She's here to just kind of like wreck everybody. And they even kind of gave some foreshadowing at some point. I don't know if it was one of the announcers or something was like, oh, how crazy would it be if she's so badass if she just came through and took the whole tournament or whatever. And so it was like, this lady's really, I never saw her wrestle before, but she did a great job. And it just really gave a really hard first impression of her being like super badass.
Oh yeah. Steve?
Yeah, well, I had a feeling that we would see Mercedes go sort of quite far in the tournament, given what we saw on it at the end of the Impact Knockouts match. However, I was really surprised that this was such a short match. Yes, it showcased Mercedes incredibly well, but given the story that they're telling with the Sue Young sort of storyline, it kind of felt like you sort of cut the knees off a little.
Yeah. And
that's true.
And one thing about Mercedes Martinez, damn it, I had a thought and it just completely skipped out of my head. But yeah, great match. This one was a little quicker than the others, but yeah, she is a strong veteran presence, and it came off well. I wasn't upset about it at all, and as we see later where this ends, we can backtrack to a couple moments from was it the last episode or something, which I thought was interesting. Last match here. Tasha Steelz versus Jamie Senegal. This was interesting. It's the first time we're seeing Jamie on the show here, and great to see Tasha Steelz featured in this tournament as well, because she's been focused on so much as a tag, one half of a tag partner. Now she's really, I mean, even though she's got some muscle with the Savannah Evans, she's really starting to break out here. So let's go to Alisha first here about this match. Sorry, I was just reading something in the chat. Consummate brain fart over
this. First of all, it was important, especially if you're going to dedicate a show to Daphne. You're going to, have one of her wrestling kids featured, and that's what Jamie Senegal is. Jamie, I don't know, just seeing these two paired up in their match made me really happy too, because of course I'm a really big Tasha fan. And Jamie and Tasha worked really well together, especially for Jamie's particular moveset. Tasha's equipped for it. Anyway, I just really like this because Jamie was representing for Daphne, as I said before, and her entrance and her gear was just a beautiful and thoughtful tribute to her wrestling mom. And another example of how far of a net, Daphne had in the business. Once again, I'd also like to see Jamie signed with Impact. This is a good example of what I like to call homegrown talent, is catch them when they're still new and build them up. And this is just, I hope so.
Oh yeah. That's one thing that Impact Wrestling over this last handful of years, with the new regime taking over and just completely flipping the company on its head for a better, is they've proven that, because look how many people have gone on to other, big, not necessarily better, but bigger places. Stefan, let's go to you for your thoughts on Tasha Steelz versus Jamie Senegal.
Yeah, Jamie obviously knows how to wrestle, and so going back to what Alisha said about the homegrown thing, but in the promos right off the bat, it was like Tasha Steelz just so pissed off, like so determined to. This is like the maddest I think I've ever seen Tasha Steelz, and she always has that kind of like bad girl kind of attitude to her, but she was just so, like, her promo was so hard, and Jamie's was not. Jamie's was kind of weak. Like, they go back and forth in the promos a little bit, and Tasha's like, I'm gonna smash this chick or something. I feel like I've heard. She's like, I never wrestled her before, but she's like in for it. And then Jamie's just was kind of like, oh yeah, I always see Tasha wrestle. She's a great wrestler, something like this. She was like, gave her props or something. I'm like, oh man, Jamie's in for it. But a lot of good shots of Bill in this match, because I think it went outside the ring a lot, so I went over to where Bill was. A lot of great shots of Bill in this one. But my impression of this too, the crowd started out a little bit slow, but that might have been indicative of what you were talking about before with the different days. Maybe this was like the beginning of the next day or something. The crowd wasn't hyped up as much or something. I don't know. But they ended up into it by the end of the match. Seemed to start a little slow with the crowd, but a lot of hard moves from Tasha, like foot on the throat. And there was another part where Jamie was kind of like stuck hanging outside the ropes, and Tasha
hung upside down.
And Tasha like grabbed her arms and like wrung her against the ropes, and I don't know. I thought this was like, wow, Tasha's so mad. And, it's a great match.
Yeah, she really came off as.
I wasn't surprised at the outcome. But
yeah,
kind of like what we were talking about before. But
super tough, super badass. Steve.
Yeah, well, I'm going to agree with what Stefan said, that like I think the match itself was very stiff in a good way. You know, both women brought it, and Tasha. This night was a chance to really showcase her in a singles sort of way, and you know, this was only the first match, and by God, did she bring it! I think Senegal has something, but of everyone we saw, she would be someone to maybe keep in maybe a developmental and sort of train her for the future kind of thing. But yeah, like she showed a lot of moments and a lot of fortitude, but yeah, like I would definitely say keep an eye on her for the future. But yeah, overall, a decent match. I don't think it followed the level of the previous two, but by God, that's a high standard.
Yeah, it showed the strength of a singles competitor like Tasha Steelz, but it was also a tremendously well put on match by Jamie as well. You know, even though she is new, so it showed highlights from both. You know, it really did. So Tasha comes off with the win here in the last of the matches of the first round. Then we get a break into action for the tournament, and we get a special, I guess you could say, kind of exhibition match. This is all stemming from the feud from Mickie James versus Deonna Purrazzo. That's getting built up to Bound for Glory. This was a pick your poison match where Mickie James was allowed to pick the opponent for the knockout Impact Wrestling's Knockouts champion, Deonna Purrazzo. And we just found out, I believe it was like a day before the show, that it was going to be Masha Slamovich. I gotta say, right off the bat, Masha was tremendous for a first-time debut on this platform, and doing just a little research on her, she hasn't been around that long. She's like 5 years in the industry, and coming off strong, like she can go toe to toe with our women's champ, who is, in my professional podcasting opinion, one of the best in the industry overall, Deonna Purrazzo. Alisha, let's go to you for this. Masha versus Deonna.
I unfortunately was up wandering around for a lot of this match, so I'm not the best narrator to give an opinion on it. I just would like to quickly say that Masha Slamovich is awesome. And I'm excited to see more of her. Next.
It's all right. So you've seen Masha wrestle before, so you can at least say that much. All right, Stefan.
So yeah, I don't know. So Slamovich reminds me right off the bat of a character in that movie, or not movie, the TV show Glow. I don't know if you guys seen this TV show with what's that guy's name? The actor's name. I'm so bad with actor and actresses' names in like TVs and movies. What's that guy's name in that show? I think he's the most famous one, right?
Oh, the creator, the announcer.
It's the fictitious version of the Glow show where it's like dramatic.
The one Kaya was supposed to be on.
Oh, you're talking about the one on Netflix.
Yes.
Oh, let's see. I know of the show. I watched.
So one of the main characters on this is supposed to be like a communist or something, and she has hair just like the same kind of like vertical hair, like just like Slamovich has. Gotcha. So I don't know, right off the bat I'm like, well, this is almost the same, but that was almost kind of an aside. I don't want to get into that too much, but just in terms of the match, really great match. I feel like this was one of the drawbacks of having Mickie James as one of the main announcers, although she did a super great job, like what we were talking about before. just like a lot of like Mickie James complaining and stuff like this. I feel like in a traditional format, it would be Mickie James as maybe like the third guest announcer or something like that, with like the two main people don't have any stake in the match or whatever. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But yeah, it was great. A lot of people chanting USA in the crowd, stuff like this. That's always fun. It was good. It was a good match to break up the rounds. You know what I mean? Because you don't want just like it was almost kind of good to have a match in the middle there that didn't have any kind of like title consequences or anything like that. It's just like a good match and had a good length to it.
Yeah, that's one thing that we do want to point out is the Knockouts title was not on the line here. That's why I called it an exhibition match. It was just Simply Steve.
Yeah, like everyone said, you know, when I was aware of Masha from when she appeared in Empower recently, I think it was the #1 Contenders Gauntlet, but it's difficult to kind of pick someone out in a gauntlet, isn't it, and kind of really know what they're doing. So it was great to see her in a one-on-one match, and Deonna always brings the best out of someone, but you feel like Slamovich really took Deonna to another level too. You know, and not only that, but if you were to add her to the Knockouts roster, like, name another person on the Knockouts roster that she'd like, you know, look-wise, style-wise, you know, she's not too similar. So she does add something really unique.
Yeah, and the only thing I also want to point out about Masha is, as far as her very unique look, is I want to know how many cans of hairspray it took to get her hair.
What do you want to know for?
Oh, just here. I mean, not for myself, obviously, but I grew up in that time where Aquanet. I mean, there was a lot of people that had stock in Aquanet back in the day. I'm just saying.
It's still popular.
Yeah. So from what I heard is, and I think they said this during the commentary, pretty sure, part of her entrance or early in the match, is they said that her look with the hair straight up like that was a tribute to one of her trainers in Japan. It was what do they call them over there? Joshi, the women.
I believe that's what maybe.
Joshi. I'm not super so familiar with women's.
Yeah.
I know there's a term for it, but yeah. So that's what that was. Now, one thing I did hear, and this wasn't formally announced, and it wasn't part of the show, but someone posted a picture online, and I believe she was offered a contract from Impact Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
At the show.
Yeah.
So if that is true, then congrats to her.
Yes.
I mean, she really came off. As far as anyone from the new faces on this show, I'd say she deserved it the most. Just as a one-off, you know. I know she's been on before, a couple of years ago for some special, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what it was. But yeah, great match, and she really, like you said, they really, she really took Deonna Purrazzo to the limit here. Kind of, banged her up a little bit because, well, there's another show coming up in 2 weeks, so that does matter. Now we got the semifinals in the Knockouts Knockdown tournament here. Mercedes Martinez versus Rachael Ellering. Alisha, let's go to you.
How about Steve? You go first.
We can go clockwise. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm happy to take it. I know that a lot of people have obviously got their match of the night with Deonna and Slamovich, but for me, I thought this was match of the night. In my opinion, I thought this was absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to hold my hands up that when Rachael Ellering came into the company, I didn't really think that she was, she had much in her. I thought that she was kind of lacking something. But since crowds have come back at Slammiversary, we've seen her perform better and better as matches have gone on. And this, for me, was her best match to date in Impact. And so much like counter wrestling. It was like watching Deonna Purrazzo and Josh Alexander with those two in there for me. It was pure kind of mat wrestling, counter wrestling, and the fight forever chant could not have been more true.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
Stefan.
So for this one, it was good to see Mercedes in a longer match. You know what I mean? We got a better. You could see her, wrestle a little bit more than last time. So that was great.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yes. Yes.
My first impression of this one, just like both really strong wrestlers. So that was a great, you know what I mean? Both really like hard moves and really strong wrestling. So I was just happy to see Mercedes wrestle a little bit more, like I was saying.
There you go.
I really didn't know what to expect with this one, but it was cool that Mercedes won, and then that's when I really started to think like, okay, maybe they really are starting to do what they're foreshadowing from before, when they said like, oh, what if she comes through and takes the whole thing? But I started to really think about that.
Oh yeah, you really started to think about who is taking this now in the next round. Absolutely. Yeah, and you knew you were going to get a different style match out of this just because the other one was a little more character-based with Brandy, trying to be, spooky and powerful at the same time, whereas this one is, you didn't have to think about any gimmicks here. This was just straight wrestling.
Right.
Besides the possible, bang-up, I don't want to say injury, but possibly being hurt, Rachael from her first match. Alisha.
Played into it well.
Yes.
I again just really enjoyed this one. My money was on Mercedes, just because I'm a big fan of hers, and I think she is a good accommodation, acquirement of the show for this. As we'll talk about later, she had a pretty big standing. Just a good match overall. Nothing more to add to what everybody else has said so far.
Okay. All right, so Mercedes gets this win in the next round going on. Tasha Steelz then versus Chelsea Green in the semifinals. I had to read my writing. I immediately popped for Chelsea's gear because it was a purple sparkly version of what she had before. She always looks great. And Tasha Steelz on fire for this one. Stefan, let's go to you first.
Yeah, Tasha really does not care what the crowd thinks during this match. Like, she's like yelling at people in the crowd and stuff like that. I think somebody in the crowd going like, "Tasha sucks," or something. Like you hear like one fan in particular like yelling "Tasha sucks" a few times during this one. But it's like Tasha tries to give like a handshake in the middle of the match. Like in the middle of the match, really? Like you usually do that like before or after, even if you're gonna like do something sly with a handshake. She's like tries to do it in the middle of the match. Like you're just gonna try to like cheat on that one. But there was a fun series of like alternating kickouts where they just like flip over and over and over again. And the ref gets a lot of props for like the ref had to work so hard on making like these 2 counts over and over. It was like 22 counts in a row or something like that without stopping. And then like the ref's working so hard on this one, and they give the crowd gives the ref props at the end of that series. So that was really fun. Didn't really know who was going to win this one. Wanted Chelsea to win, of course, because I'm a Chelsea fan, more so than Tasha personally. But I feel like Tasha was a better matchup for Mercedes in the end. So better for the overall structure of the tournament for Tasha to win this one. So that was good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Steve?
Yeah, like there was some really brutal offense in this match. Like there were a couple of times where like I really cringed at what both women were doing to each other. But we haven't really seen Chelsea in many singles matches, have we? And you forget how over she is, really. You know, the crowd were really going for her. And when you've got someone like that, you know, you kind of need to think, someone we need to take advantage of then. But yeah, like fantastic match. And I mean, all along, I kind of felt Tasha was going to win because they did sort of half tease it at the end of it in that Impact match, sort of tension between Tasha and Mercedes, didn't they?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was leading to. Yeah, because if you followed that, then you had a clue of what was going to happen. But yeah, like I didn't think about it until almost the end of the show or in the finals, and I was like, then it all comes back. Yeah, Alisha.
It was just good to see Chelsea more. I sometimes forget that she's part of Impact. I hate to be that person, and maybe it's just because the storyline that she's caught up in or something. But when she's finally around the women's division, I'm like, there she is. Like, yeah, okay, there's the Chelsea we love. All right, yeah, I really like this match. Obviously, I'm rooting on Tasha, and she got the win for this. But overall, I thought it was very enjoyable and just fun to watch overall.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying because when Chelsea was brought in, it was all tied to her fiance, Matt Cardona. So, you know, they had the homecoming, well, I guess you could say intergender stuff. That she was involved in.
Rehwoldt.
Yeah. So there was that. So this was like completely, you know, separate from all that, so you could see her focused as a singles individual.
It was refreshing for sure.
It was, and Matt wasn't out there. The only guy that was out there for any of these, which I forgot to mention, was Deonna Purrazzo's king to her queen, Matthew Rehwoldt. So
yeah.
So they gave him. I forgot to mention that they were giving him crap. Like, why is he out here? You know,
right.
That was funny. I suppose he could be a bit of a diva himself. So yeah, Tasha Steelz gets the win here against Chelsea. Moving on, and we know who's in the finals: Mercedes Martinez versus Tasha Steelz for the cup. Christy Hemme is then coming out. Now, she was one of the first ones announced for this show. And in watching this, I had completely forgotten that she was going to be a part of this.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she comes out. I'm like, oh, yeah, Christy Hemme, because I thought she was going to be part of the commentary when they first announced this. I didn't think she was going to be in the tournament. You know, I was pretty sure she was still retired, but I mean, we've seen a lot of people come out of retirement lately, so nothing would have shocked me because medicine over the last 10 years has evolved tenfold as far as rehabilitating people in sports and or, you know, sports entertainment, wrestling, whatever brand you're talking about. So, but yeah, so great to see her come out, and she announces this year's Hall of Fame member, Awesome Kong. And she gets quite the round of applause, and just a wonderful moment for a Hall of Fame and a veteran knockout that really kicked this brand's division, the women's knockouts, into gear. That was it 2007, or was that the year? Was it 2008? I'm trying to.
2007, I think it started. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's when they really started to bring in everyone and the beautiful people and all that. Okay. So, Alisha, your thoughts on Kong going in the Hall of Fame?
Well deserved. you got to remember, and maybe for the people who don't remember, at one point, Kong was the pinnacle that every woman had to beat to show that they had worth any shit in the company. So I think it's long overdue, to be honest, especially too. You know, it's awesome, Kong. Come on now. But speaking, we were talking about Glow earlier. She was also in the show. She plays a pretty major role in it, and so once again, check her out. Yeah, I just like it. I'm really happy about it, and I really enjoyed that she once again dedicated part of her inductment into to Daphne.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
I thought again it's just really thoughtful. I really got the essence that everybody on the show is trying to put it across, that they were coming together to really show support for one of their own, and this was a beautiful tribute to it. Just overall, the whole show, this especially.
Oh yeah. Steve.
Yeah, like Alisha said, it was great to see Christy back, and it was great to see her introduce Awesome Kong, and the pop she got just shows how popular she is with the Impact fans, and you could see she was genuinely choked up to be there and talk to everyone again, and how much it means to her, and her and Gail can now renew their feud in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah, it's on another level now.
That's funny.
Stefan?
Yeah, no, like a lot of these guys said, great. So I know Awesome Kong from Glow, that Netflix show Glow, like Alisha was saying. So if you want to see her as an actress too, then you have that opportunity if you're a Netflix subscriber or whatever. But anyway, she came off as really genuine. Obviously I know her already, but came off as just a really genuine person and really down to earth, and it was really selfless of her to dedicate kind of like towards the end of her speech to just make it about Daphne and bring some attention to all of that. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, and then it goes right from there into a more personal tribute to Daphne given by Taylor Wilde, who sadly couldn't be there. I'm not sure exactly why. I don't know if it was work related or whatever, but she's been kind of in and out since she's come back. But no matter what she contributes, it's always fun. But it was also great to see a more personal side to it, because she reminded me, I completely had forgotten this, that she was in those monster.
The first female Monsters Ball.
The first Monsters Ball.
Right, and she was in there with Daphne, and talked about certain spots and how tough it was. So yeah, it was a great tribute to her from Taylor Wilde. Then we get into the Monsters Ball match, the 4-way, the knockouts here. Kimberly versus Savannah Evans versus Alisha Edwards versus, I'm going to just get the two mixed up between our Alisha and that Alisha. I'm always botching it up. Versus Jordynne Grace. Man, did Jordynne Grace get a pop for this? I mean, this might be one of the biggest pops I've seen her get. I don't know if it's just still getting used to an audience being back in this brand or what. But man, that they really popped for her. I love this. I felt like this didn't go too long, didn't get too crazy. There was a little bit of blood, a little bit of everything with the tacks. Some tremendous spots that you normally don't see women and or knockouts take. So it just reminding us all how tough they really are.
Oh yeah,
especially rolling around in the tacks. It's like, oh my god, it's just a lot of cringing moments in here, but a lot of fun ones as well. With the barbed wire kendo stick with the pink on it. That was great.
Yeah.
Kendra,
Kendra.
whatever they call it. Yeah. Steve, let's go. Your thoughts on this Monsters Ball match?
Yeah, as you say, it had everything. You know, it is basically, you know, it is a normal Monsters Ball, and they even added some extra bits like Jordynne Grace coming down and bringing a plate with her, which, I mean, I won't lie, I cringed when she dropped Alisha on that. That was a pretty nasty spot.
Dropping her on it, and then
Yeah.
Alisha rolled off into the tax. It's like,
Yeah.
you rolled the wrong way. You know?
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty. Oh god! But again, like I said earlier about Brandy, Kimber took an absolute beating in this match.
Yeah, she did.
Oh yeah. The Undead family was hurting after this one. Yes.
Definitely. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. But all in all, you can't discount the effort of any of these women. They did Daphne proud.
They did. They really did. Yeah. Stefan?
I love the hardcore matches. That's always like the highlight of the pay-per-view for me. And this was a great one. A lot of real hardcore stuff going on. You know, a lot of weapons, and so they really did it well. And it's kind of unfortunate that some of these women couldn't be part of the tournament itself. Were some of my thoughts, like maybe Jordynne Grace would have maybe probably made it at least to round 2 if she was part of the tournament. But it was great. You know, they got to wrestle, and it was a lot of fun. Another great kind of like breakup match to the, good like segue match, in other words, between like the rounds, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, a great break in between the finals segments. Yeah, Alisha.
Where do I start? This was just a great match overall. Straight to the point. Everybody brought their A game for it, and everybody brought their own charm. Like Jordynne with her hand shock. Although at first I thought that was protein powder. Just FYI, if she ever wants to use that.
The Fuji protein powder.
The Fuji protein powder, there it is. It was just good. I thought Kimber would have taken it only because the personal connection to Daphne, but I think it was smart to push Savannah with the win. It's about time that I think they start booking her strong. Because I think they have big plans for her.
Oh, Savannah Evans.
Savannah Evans, yeah.
It was great to see her get the win. It was surprising because she is, out of all the women in this match, she is the newest. She just recently started helping Tasha Steelz as her muscle. I like to compare it to like the Diesel to HBK.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair comparison for size and ability. So, but yeah, she gets the win here, and man, the boot to Jordynne that clear knocked her out of the ring, and then the full Nelson bomb to Alisha Edwards at the end here, just a dominant. But they all got their stuff in. That was a great thing.
Yeah.
But Savannah coming in at the end and then just plowing through them was surprising, but good stuff. Absolutely, props to everyone in this match. A lot of fun. Then we go into the finals, and like Steve touched on, you beat me to it, but no, it's all good. Tasha Steelz versus Mercedes Martinez. I love that they did this because they actually touched on this in that tag match, the tension between the two. Because Mercedes Martinez, whether you know her or not, she commands some kind of respect. She is a veteran. I don't know how long she's been wrestling, but she's been around a long time. Yeah. So it's especially good to see her brought in for something like this, and for the brand of Impact Wrestling to let her do what she's done. And you don't keep someone like that in catering or hide them behind a really horrible gimmick.
No.
You let them out. You let them express their talents. So props to Impact for doing that. So going into that, knowing that tension from the last episode of Impact Wrestling, this just felt like it all. It's like all the lights went out. Like, oh, there it is, Tasha Steelz versus Mercedes Martinez. So two Boricua badasses, certainly one more being the veteran than the other. Alisha, let's start with you.
Well, to answer your question from before, I looked it up, and Mercedes Martinez's debut was in 2000.
Oh, so over 20 years.
Yeah, she's hot minute. She's been around. So
Amazing.
When you say she has an era that commands respect, it's duly noted. You know what I mean? You're not wrong in that aspect. I love this match because it's two sides of the same coin. I kind of feel like, where we have the mature veteran versus the cocky up and comer. You know what I mean? Even though Tasha's got time behind her, obviously Mercedes been around a lot longer, and I just really like the storytelling. In this particular match, I didn't really know who was going to be the win, but I was really happily surprised that it was Mercedes.
Yeah, could have went either way because not to overthink something like this, but Tasha is the new, one of the new breakout knockouts, being a singles star, but Mercedes Martinez coming in as a veteran. You could have flipped the coin on this one. It could have went either way. Steph?
Yeah, I had a feeling like Mercedes would take this one by this time of the tournament. I wouldn't have guessed it at the beginning, but seeing her in the final or against Tasha, I didn't know if Impact wanted to give Tasha an opportunity at the main women's title right away. I feel like she had a lot of championship time with Fire and Flava with the tag teams, so she kind of had a lot of opportunity already to be a champion, at least with the tag matches. So this was a great, nothing terribly remarkable to say about the match itself, other than that the wrestling was really good, and you could tell that these two women belonged in the final, you know what I mean, with the way they were wrestling and everything. So really great match, really fun to watch.
Yeah. Steve?
Yeah, definitely. Like, there was... You kind of felt it was just a case of these two women had a bit between them from Impact, so they were going to end up in the final, but they actually managed to pour a little story in there throughout the night, saying, that they're both from like the same background, and here's the teacher and the student kind of thing, and the match kind of told that story, and it was kind of like, can you top this? And in the end, the student couldn't top the teacher. It was a very, very good match, very back and forth, very even. Tasha held her own. She looked fantastic in defeat. And I do think, Mercedes was the right pick to win it, because I think Tasha, when she gets her chance, she will, that will be the moment like we saw with Josh with the X Division.
Oh, yeah. And if Tasha's sticking around, she's got plenty of time. Giving this opportunity to someone like Mercedes Martinez, she's been around a long time, so you're not sure how long she is going to be in the game of wrestling. So I'm okay with them giving this to her, and they did say that this was going to be an opportunity to be given to her after Bound for Glory. So she's going to have to wait a little bit at least. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to jump on this right away. It might be something that she's just going to hang on to in a while and cash it in, maybe surprisingly down the road somewhere. We'll have to wait and see.
Turning point?
Could be, because that's going to be the first live. I almost said Twitch. No more Twitch. First live Impact Plus Insider Special that is not a major pay-per-view, so that's also good to see. We'll have to wait. We'll have to see. Yeah. But yeah, tremendous match in the finals between these two, and Mercedes Martinez comes out on top. And, I mean, you could see the frustration on the face of Tasha because she really thought she was going all the way with this.
Definitely.
Gail comes out then, presents the cup to Mercedes Martinez, celebrating in the ring. Then we go to the main event. The Knockouts tag titles on the line, defended by Decay, represented by, of course, Rosemary and Havoc. Misspelling Havoc in my notes. What is wrong with me? And going against Influence, Madison Rayne and Tennille Dashwood, and of course flanked by Caleb with a K. I gotta say, this team of Tennille Dashwood and Madison Rayne, I had my doubts about this team when they first put them together, but they've really come off as a force to be reckoned with. I feel like it's all been booked properly, and they are a perfect fit. You know,
they got the matching gear to solidify it.
Yeah, and I have that was big too, because they actually mentioned that in that that little show they did about what color kind of color gear are we gonna have, green or whatever. And yeah, they looked great, you know, because they matched. And Caleb, of course, just always
the neck brace.
The consummate goof at ringside, you know, with the picture taking and everything, and the Polaroids, going old school, channeling his own. I always say Bobby the Brain Heenan. You know, that's where I go with it.
Yeah.
Steve, let's go with you on this.
Yeah. This was a really fun match to end the night. You know, you had a great night of like pure wrestling, seeing loads of new talent and everything, and then this was like a nice sort of bit of fun, kind of let's kind of relax and just enjoy ourselves to end the night off. And it was still a great match. All four women put a fantastic match in and still, you know, delivered a fantastic match, but it had that little bit of like, we can go away with a bit of a kind of a laugh and a smile on my face rather than just a smile.
There you go.
Yeah, Stefan?
Yeah, I mean, I almost forgot that this match was even happening by the end of the night. There was such a solid pay-per-view by the end of that finale, and that was such a consequential match with the with the title opportunity for it that I was so happy when there was one more match. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Really great to see Decay as kind of like anti-heroes, you know what I mean? They're like the bad guy, good guys. And conversely, really great to see the influencers. They're really great together, like you were saying before, J-Bone. And they really serve well as like the good guys that you don't like, you know what I mean? They're so obnoxious with all of their Instagram stuff and the photos and all of this. And Caleb with a K really screwed it up for them on this one. You know, it was the classic distracted ref couldn't make the proper count for the influencers because Caleb with a K was like on the other side of the ring, like on the apron with a Polaroid. He was trying to show the ref something, or I don't know, whatever. But yeah, this was really fun to watch, and great performances from everyone.
Look at this great selfie I just took.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
He's
a lot of build up and the week to week for this too, and the normal week to week show, like during the whatever it's called, the What About Me segment or whatever it's called that Tennille Dashwood does. You know, the Decay kept like invading it and kicking them out of their own show and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's not even theirs anymore. It's tragic.
Yeah. Would love to see a Decay talk show. Or
you could say it's proper. Yeah, it's like that would be even more chaotic. We'll have to wait and see what they even call that, or what they're going to do with that one plant. You know, it's always that one plant. But yeah, and realizing how over Decay is still just it blows my mind. You think they're the heel, but they're not. They're really not. Alisha.
Yeah, like you said, or like Stefan said, the anti-heroes in a way. I I kind of had a feeling this was going to end the way that it did, only because the teaser we got as the very end of the show. What great storytelling are we in for? That's kind of like, oh, great match, super great on both sides. I really like both these teams. But oh my god, I can't wait to see the Inspiration versus Decay.
Yeah. Yeah, they're coming. I don't know if they're actually going to be wrestling at Bound for Glory, but they are going to be at Bound for Glory. That was announced.
Setting shit up.
Yeah. And that was teased back at Slammiversary, so it's just unfortunately, it's been in the works for a while because of all the stuff behind the scenes, the visa stuff, the red tape or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, they finally got it worked out, and we've got a great new tag team of. Now, I'm not used to these names yet, so I got to put them in front of my eyes. Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, the Inspiration, the former Iconics. So, yeah, great to see that debut. Now, the Inspiration just started putting out merch, too, within the last, I want to say, week or so.
Okay.
So that was also a good sign that they had things going. And I think they're doing some signings, too. I don't know if they're wrestling.
Okay.
Excuse me, but I know they're getting some appointments for some appearances or something. So that was a nice sign that they're starting to get things put together. So
they're great.
Yeah, it was just a matter of where they're going to show up. I love the Iconics. I think they're hilarious.
They have great personalities.
They do. They're so over the top. They're like female versions of like the Miz,
That's a great description.
I think better.
Yeah. Not to compare to something else in another brand, but I always thought that, just because they're like they are the true epitome of it's all about me, It's so yeah. Any other thoughts on I almost said it, inspiration coming in from this panel?
I mean, they're like what the Influence tries to do, but better, I feel like.
Yeah.
So they're
just top work from Impact, and also getting a name already on Bound for Glory, to say, look, here's another reason why you should kind of buy it, because this name is already going to be there.
Oh yeah, and there's been other hints from other professional wrestlers out there saying they're going to be making destination announcements very soon. So it'll be great to see what other surprises we get for that pay-per-view. And it's hard to believe it's 2 weeks. God, where did this year go? Any final thoughts on this whole show in general as we wrap this up?
Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Alisha.
Okay, 2 snaps and a Cheerio. I fucking loved it.
I'm not a good snapper, but yeah, absolutely. Steve?
Yeah, for me, fantastic start to finish, and you couldn't have asked for a better tribute to Daphne with the Monsters Ball and Decay ending the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great ending to wrap up this tremendous knockout special. Steph?
I think Impact really sets the bar for what like a women's wrestling division should be like, and this really showcased that. And super solid from start to finish, and I had so much fun watching it. It didn't leave my seat.
Yeah, this was one. It took me a while to get through last night, which is another reason why I had to postpone it to today, unfortunately. But yeah, as soon as I was done doing whatever I was doing, I'm like, okay, sit down and finish this now. I got an hour left, because I knew just from the first 2/3 of it, it was absolutely tremendous show. Just start to finish, great flow, great way they broke up the semifinals and the finals and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, T. Hughes, yes, thank you. Sorry, I saw you mention it earlier. I want to throw this in there that they started mentioning this within the last day or so. Several wrestlers, including the Knockouts here present on the show, talking about the Tag Me In presentation that they're trying to organize. It's all about mental health, stemming from stuff happening with Daphne was the big focus. And just the whole, if you're in trouble or you know someone, it's okay to talk about what's going on, upstairs. And given this last year and a half dealing with everything going on worldwide, I think there's an even bigger need for that now. So just a great way for this brand of Impact Wrestling and the Knockouts introducing this to their audience. So if you want to help, now I heard they have some T-shirts for sale. I haven't heard much else besides the organization or whatever, but I know they've got some T-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, the Tag Me In. So yeah, be looking for more stuff on that in the near future. Thank you, T-Hughes. Appreciate it. So yeah, that's going to do it for this. Oh, we're wrapping this up in dynamite time here. So let's go around the horn. Let's get our Twitters in there, and we'll wrap this baby up. Steve.
You can find me over on Twitter at SimplySteve311, where everything Impact Wrestling related, or if you fancy reading any articles that I write on Impact Wrestling, you can head over to WrestleBuddy.com under the Impact Wrestling banner.
Yeah, some great articles from the guys in TNI UK on there, from yourself and Joker and everyone else on there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Go check it out.
Great.
Stefan, our guest who we haven't seen in a while, where can they find you?
I'm not too famous on the internet like you guys, but if you want to, so they actually kicked me off of Facebook because they misinterpreted something that I said, so I can't post until like the 19th or something like that. Got a 30-day because I was talking shit about Jenny's dad from Forrest Gump. I can't say mean things about that guy, but anyway. Fictitious character from a movie from the 90s. And anyway,
you know what they say.
I'm I_am_sofa_kings_ on Instagram.
That's
so
great.
I have a private account now, but you're welcome to. I'll definitely let you see all my posts if you go ahead and follow me on that. And I'm not on Twitter, but looking forward to being back on Facebook on the 19th, so I can spread more violence or whatever I was doing.
Life is like a lot of social media suspensions. Our local knockout, Alisha, where can they find you?
You can find me under the handle Alisha BKK on Instagram, Twitter, and lurking on Discord.
There we go. You can find me over on the Twitter box at JBone5150. That's JAYBONE 5150. And also smash this podcast on YouTube and Twitch and wherever you find your audio. And you can also find this show on audio as well, besides looking at our lovely panel here on YouTube and Twitch. Wherever you find your audio, let's see, SoundCloud, Google, Spotify, iTunes. Subscribe and give it a review on the YouTube here. You can smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of our content hits your screen. See, now I'm using my Smash gimmick over here too. It all just kind of comes together. So thanks everyone on the panel for joining today, and thanks to all of our lovely audience members out there joining us for this on this lovely, not so lovely outside, Sunday afternoon. We'll see you later tonight, Patreon members, for the Sunday dinner. I'll be setting that up later as soon as I'm done with my pizza gimmick I'm about to get into shortly. So take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you later tonight, Patreon fam. Much love.